Yeah, so the title isn't a lie. I am absolutely dogshit at Sekiro / Souls-like games. But before I go down this deep, depressing hole, a bit of context. So, about 2 months ago or so, a game dev reached out to me via emails asking if I could check out their game. And I said, okay. Now, to be fair, I did like how it looked. I thought the combat was interesting and the pixel art looked fantastic. I also knew it was going to be absolutely god-awful at this game. So quickly jumping into the game lore, our story starts off in an ancient continent. No, that's literally just what it's called in the cutscene. Like, it just calls it the ancient continent. Multiple types of advanced civilizations live on it, developing different cultures, countries, races, etc. The game cutscene shows off 5 being the elves. I don't really know what the purple one is. The furry people, bird people, and I'm only going to assume are like druids or something. I don't actually know. Later on though, we do learn that humans actually are also in this world. Hooray for us. We also learn that humans have developed the technology to crystallize Earth's energy for technology purposes. Yeah, let's go with that. But after that bombshell discovery, it's said that humans developed extremely rapidly, becoming the most powerful race and country on the continent, just as the God Emperor of mankind wanted. We start the game off as an elf from the mysterious Sea of Thieves. Oh shit. I mean Sea of Trees. I don't know how I managed that. Sea of Trees, in the deepest part of the continent. We are told that elves are quite the isolationists, like some countries I used to know. And that each member of an elven family needs to leave their hometown to gain experience. And despite how questionable that sounds, we set out. And that leads us right into the gameplay. So after running around the starter map, getting used to the controls, well, not in my case, as you guys will come to know, we eventually move forward to find a sister. Her name literally in the game is just called Sister, so I'm just gonna call her Martha, or some random bullshit. Martha in this case gives us our grand quest, task, whatever, to head to Eversong Village to find our kin. The village being very important to the elves for their coming of age pilgrim, adding that it's the only elven settlement relatively close to human territories, so that definitely means everyone's still alive. Quick side note, by the way, you can see in the footage that I'm hitting a rock over and over again, and for some unknown reason, I like to think it was those pesky round ear humans that were just kind of scrambling my brain juices or whatever, but I was just incapable of reading the instructions on screen. It literally says press J plus I plus I. And for some reason, my monkey gorilla brain just said, hey, just press J over and over again. To be fair, right, in my defense, the eyes were like slits. I was used to that. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, it must be a placeholder. I must be just pressing J over and over again. But even then, I don't really know what went through my brain. I don't know why I decided, hey, let me just press J over and over and over again. But here I am, so. And to be fair, I don't think anything was important in that chest anyway. Oh god. Anyway, we move along into the caves where there's some equipment like a map, some other people in there you can talk to, they're unimportant basically. There's some training dummies as well where you can practice your skills on, which I completely just ran past because fuck that. This won't bite me in the ass whatsoever. Fuck. After leaving the elven dingy little cave, we move through some areas killing some slimes, as you do with every start of your adventure type story, until you encounter like the scariest like motherfucking slime ever. Like, I'll put it up on screen. That thing was hunting me down. It had a mission and it was to kill me and like my entire bloodline with how fast it was fucking moving for the size of the thing. So after either running away or defeating that big blob, you move on to the kind of open world section of it and you just kind of scour the lands, just kind of move along. But you do find some interesting places. So for instance, campsites, which usually have people in them. Like my first one was with a human and he was a hunter with a fucking gun. Like, I don't know how American you can get with that. And there was also a very tall female swordsman. For simplicity's sake, I'm just gonna call her the swordswoman, which upon interacting with her has some pretty funny meta humor. But after that, we kind of make our way through the entire world, just kind of dealing with enemy encounters, dealing with campsites, talking to people. There's also this farm that I ran into with fucking dinosaurs in there. Like, come on. I think it's like a stegosaurus, or I'm not good with dinosaurs. It could be either one. Just what it had a bunch of dinosaurs that a furry guy was like farming. Don't know what he was farming specifically from them. I don't know if they're like big cows, but he was doing something. After coming up to a interactable like little forest thing, we come across like a big block in the road, and we encounter a traveling merchant, which we've been encountering for quite a while at this point. I'm only just mentioning him now. But we also meet the swordswoman. And now she's wanting to like spar and whatever. Now, not gonna lie, seeing her this often and her just talking about combat kind of made me a little bit suspicious. But we did break through the rock by using a charge attack, and we were literally almost immediately like set upon by a big, like, massive enemies. Like, it was not good. But incorporating the most revolutionary and heroic tactic known to man, I just ran away. I saw the amounts of enemies and projectiles coming my way, and I said, I wonder what happens if I just run past them all and go to the exit. And turns out there's no consequence. You can just run right past them without any sort of, like, they don't spawn back behind you. They just kind of disappear. So technically I defeated them, but I didn't get any experience, so. But that's when, coming up to a campsite later on, there is a little bit of a mission where a guy says, hey, could you kill this water person for me? They're not that dangerous or anything like that. They're just kind of, yeah, no, when I got to the fucking waterfall part, it was a fucking boss. Like I didn't know what to do. So I'm not entirely sure if it's me or if it's the fact that I just kept ignoring loot, like that chest back there. But this boss was like very, very hard for me. Like, she had too much health. Her attacks were really weird, and I just didn't know what to do. It could have been all me because I'm not really used to the controls, because it's WASD and the controls are like JKLI or JKL. So that just meant I just kept dying to her over and over again until I eventually figured out a way to defeat her. And the best way to defeat a big boss is to run away. So I incorporated the same tactic I did last time with the whole bunch of enemies and just completely ran right past her. I mean, technically I won't get the reward and it could help me out in the future, like for killing her, but I don't have to deal with her for now. After kind of just going through the lands a bit more, we come across a really big hill or mountain. It's hard to tell. And before I continue, I do want to say that this is coming from exactly the source, the game itself. When going up to the NPCs, the bird people that are up on this hill, they refer to everything that's caked in white as just white stuff, which we come to learn from the older bird was just by human intervention when they were extracting all the Earth's life force and putting them into crystals. That's the reason why everything on that hill mountain is dying. Along with the white pathetic tree, the old person said, oh, back in my day, it used to be big. We used to be able to fold our wings and go to bed in it. And now, rip. But after moving on from that somber note, we move into the forest with, oh god, a lot of enemies. I was attempting then to incorporate my famous tactic of booking it to the end, but then as I got to a certain point, I was violently dragged into a boss fight. Well, not violently, but the music was very menacing and the big lady was very scary. Which, on that note, guess who we need to fight now? Our BFF, our forever friend, the person that we never really thought would ever turn our backs to us, the swordswoman. And it looks like she's got a new sword, seeing as how she's holding a new red one instead of her white one that she was holding, with a large menacing crater in the ground. She was possibly infected or something. I don't really know. Maybe she didn't want to give up her new shiny toy, but we were just gonna have to fight it out. And it was a long and hard battle. But after about an hour of fighting or so,
with the best of your portions. I know I won't forget all he's done. He's the strength.
I finally got her. And then literally right after you fight her, you go out and see this portal thing, and it literally puts you into another boss fight. Now see, I might be very stupid, but I've got no idea if there's any point where you can just kind of leave or anything like that. But I got really close to actually killing her, the next boss, but she literally murdered me while she was on like 3 health, and I just gave up at that point. So with that, that's the kind of demo for me. I was not willing to play that again because I got way too angry that I couldn't kill the boss. So we'll just quickly go on to my opinion. So what I really think of the game, and just letting you guys know, this is just my opinion and it literally does not matter what I say. Like, this is just how I feel about the game. So we'll just go through the pros quickly. I really like the art style and the design of it. Everything for me just looked really well designed, from like, you know, how the buildings looked like, how the sprites looked. Yeah, all looked really good. I also really liked how kind of mysterious everything felt. Although the story is pretty comprehensive, there is a lot of like unanswered questions. As I said, I don't know why the swordswoman didn't do this. And NPCs do tell you certain things like the bird people and whatnot, but I do like how there's a lot of mysteries in it from what I've played anyway. And believe me, I played very briefly. There could be more, but I was just too pissy that I that I died to the last boss. So like, I would say explore if you guys ever feel like playing. Now just moving on to the cons, and these are mainly superficial, and the fact that this is a demo, it's very much going to change. I have no doubts about it. But for me personally, right, this is just the big me one. I personally don't like the controls, but the fact that this could possibly and probably is better off being played on controller kind of says a lot. I genuinely think like on keyboard and mouse, it's a bit weird. It's just because I'm used to playing like with the mouse. So like, you know, if like there probably was an option for me to reassign buttons, but like I said, this is just more of a personal thing. I don't really see that much of a problem with the controls as you get used to it, but just for me, I didn't really like it that much. Another thing, I don't really like how many enemies spawn in each room. I think that it's cool that you're able to fight like a whole lot of enemies, but it's just, you don't really get that many attack options, like, or differing attack options other than your sword. So just fighting a whole wave of enemies just feels really repetitive. There's one time where I was in like this big old decrepit shed, and there was just a bunch of zombies, and all you had to do was just press like a couple buttons and they're all just kind of like swarming you, which some people find it satisfying. For me, I just kind of find it a bit boring, but you know, we'll see how it goes from there when it comes to the further development of this game. And lastly, I don't really like how much the bosses depend on parrying and stunning them. So if we just quickly look at, and I know this is a very big, far-stretched comparison, but if you look at something like Elden Ring, you can actually like, you know, parry enemies to death and bosses to death and like just continuously like do a finishing move on them. But I would like more to be able to like fight them a bit more openly, because sometimes when you're playing the bosses like the witch boss and the swordswoman boss, most of the time you get deflected or you just don't land your hits and your character just kind of staggers. And I just feel like there should be a different way to beat them. Obviously, my expert gaming ass probably missed the point where I was probably given an item to actually probably deal with them. Like, for instance, the water lady probably would have dropped something to help me deal with either of them. But I just think relying on like parrying and kind of like doing the same thing over and over again wasn't really like, it was okay, but I think there should be different options to beat the bosses. And I'm not talking about Undertale spare and not spare. I just mean just a general kind of like way of killing them, I guess. And that's about it. In conclusion, play it. Yeah, it's a really good game, I think. Despite its kind of little hiccups and problems here and there with the controls and enemies and stuff like that, I do think it's a very cool little like beat 'em up type game. Obviously, the email from the developer did mention it was a Sekiro like game, so if you guys enjoy Sekiro like games, then you guys should get it. But yeah, but anyway, see you guys later.